did. We sat there and we talked and we interrupted everybody else's movie watching, and we talked and we kissed and we talked some more and we kissed.
For years, Linda Thompson stayed silent about her time with Elvis Presley, protecting memories filled with love, pain, and secrets. Now, after decades, she is finally opening a door she once kept closed, revealing a promise that shaped everything she never said. What did Elvis ask her to keep hidden for so long? Join us as we reveal this long-hidden secret. Linda Thompson, heartfelt revelation. It took many years before Linda Thompson felt ready to speak about the life she once shared with Elvis Presley. Decades passed after his death before she opened her heart to the world. When she finally did, it was in her book, A Little Thing Called Life. She did not come forward to cause trouble or create loud stories. She did not want attention or drama. What she wanted was something much softer and more meaningful.
The most kind of learning experience in life, and the most challenging, as you put it.
She wanted people to understand the man she knew, not just the famous image everyone saw. She wanted to remember him with kindness and truth. In her memories, she showed that he was not just a shining star on a stage. He was a real human being. He had bright moments and dark ones too, and to her, that mix made him even more special. She shared her story in a gentle way, like opening a small window into a quiet room that few had ever entered before. Instead of trying to make him look perfect, she chose to be honest, but she also refused to speak harshly about him. What she gave to the world was something rare. It was a story full of care, understanding, and respect. People who read her words did not feel shocked. They felt something deeper. They felt comfort. Her story reminded everyone that behind the loud cheers, the flashing lights, and the worldwide fame, there was a man with feelings. He had dreams, worries, and a heart that could both love and hurt. For many fans, this was a new way of seeing someone they thought they already knew. Linda had been very close to him during an important time in his life. From the early 1970s to the middle of that decade, she was by his side. She traveled with him, stayed with him, and shared both quiet and exciting moments. She saw what he was like when the spotlight was on, and also when it faded away. To her, he was never just a famous performer. He was lively, emotional, and sometimes full of surprises. She remembered him as someone who could make people smile without even trying. He had a warm charm that drew others in. He enjoyed being around people he trusted and cared deeply about those close to him. She often spoke about his kindness. He liked to give, not because he wanted to impress anyone, but because it made him happy to see others smile. One day, he even bought many animals from a shop and gave them away to friends. Moments like that showed how big his heart could be. She saw a soft side of him that most people never got to witness. He could be gentle and thoughtful. He felt things deeply, even if he sometimes tried to hide it. When he loved someone, he did it fully. And once someone became important to him, he stayed loyal in his own way. But her story was not only about the good times. She did not hide the struggles. She spoke about the habits that slowly harmed him. He depended on certain medicines, and this became a serious problem. She also noticed changes in his mood. At times, he could become restless, quick to react, or focused only on himself. Even so, she tried to understand him rather than judge him. She believed that his life was not easy. Being so famous came with a heavy weight. He was always surrounded by people, yet he often felt alone inside. The pressure never seemed to stop, and it slowly affected him. Despite these challenges, there were still many beautiful moments. She described their life together as something that sometimes felt magical. There were late nights filled with laughter, unexpected adventures, and a sense of wonder. At times, it felt like living inside a dream. He could be sweet and playful. He enjoyed surprising her and making her feel special. In those moments, everything felt light and joyful. It was easy to forget the struggles and simply enjoy the happiness they shared. But as time went on, things began to change. The bright and open world they once enjoyed started to feel smaller. The excitement slowly turned into a feeling of being trapped. His health was not the same, and his emotions became harder to manage. The joy they once felt began to fade. Their lives grew more quiet and isolated. The outside world seemed far away, even though his fame had not disappeared. The pressure around them kept building, and it became harder to ignore. Linda stayed with him as long as she could. She cared deeply and wanted to support him, but eventually she realized she had reached a point where she needed to step away. Their journey together came to an end while they were in California during the mid-1970s. Even after their relationship ended, the bond between them did not completely break. She believed that the love they shared was real and strong. Though there were moments of hurt, she never doubted that he cared for her in his own way. She understood that he needed comfort and understanding. During the time they were together, she tried her best to give him those things. She stood by him through both the bright days and the difficult ones. What makes her story so powerful is the way she chose to tell it. She did not rush or exaggerate. She spoke with calmness, honesty, and love. She allowed people to see both sides of him, the joy and the pain, the strength and the weakness. Because of this, many people began to see him differently. He was no longer just a symbol of fame. He became someone more real, someone easier to understand. His story felt deeper and more meaningful. Through her memories, she added new color to his legacy. She showed that his greatness did not come only from his talent, but also from his humanity. He was not perfect, and that is what made him relatable. Eventually, her words did something very special. They brought him back in a quiet and gentle way, not as a distant star, but as a man who lived, loved, struggled, and hoped. And maybe that is why he continues to be remembered, not just for what he achieved, but for who he was underneath it all. Now, to understand the actual origin of this love story, let's see how it all started. A collide of two worlds. Linda Thompson stepped into a movie theater in Memphis in 1972, not knowing that her life was about to turn in a way she could never imagine. Linda was not just beautiful. She had recently been given the title of Miss Tennessee, and people admired her calm spirit, her bright mind, and the gentle way she carried herself. She came from a simple Southern home, but when she walked into a room, she stood tall with quiet confidence. People in places like Nashville and even faraway Hollywood began to notice her. Still, nothing could prepare her for meeting Elvis Presley. That night was not planned in a magical way. It happened because of a friend. A man named Bill Browder invited her to a private movie night. The film was being shown at a special theater that Elvis liked to use after midnight. It was a place where he could relax away from the noise of the world. Linda agreed to go, thinking it would just be another evening. She had no idea that this simple choice would lead her into a deep and unforgettable part of her life. When Elvis walked into the theater, something about him caught her attention right away. He did not look happy or excited. His face seemed heavy, like he was carrying something inside. Later, she would remember that he looked tired, maybe even a little upset, but the moment he looked at her, everything changed. His expression softened, and something quiet passed between them. They began to talk, and time seemed to slow down. The movie ended, but they stayed. They kept talking long into the night, sharing thoughts and stories. In that moment, they were not a famous singer and a beauty queen. They were just two people sitting together, finding something real in each other. Elvis spoke about his past. He shared memories from his childhood and spoke about the deep pain of losing his mother. He also spoke about how lonely life could feel, even when surrounded by so many people.
Incognito. Because he had his own walk, he had his own stance, there was no way that he could really disguise who he was. Not effective.
Linda listened closely. She did not interrupt or pretend. She simply gave him her full attention with kindness and honesty. She did not treat him like a star. She treated him like a person, and that meant something to him. In her, he saw someone who understood him in a way others did not. In him, she saw someone more than the famous name the world knew. By the time the night turned into morning, something strong had already begun between them. Before they said goodbye, Elvis invited her to visit his home the very next day. That home was Graceland, a place known all over the world. Linda said yes. When she arrived there, everything felt like a dream. The house was full of life. Music played, people laughed, and every corner seemed to shine with success. The walls held records that told stories of greatness. Elvis made sure she felt welcome from the start. Not long after, she became part of his daily world. Living there was not just about beauty and comfort. Linda soon learned that being close to Elvis meant much more. She was not only his partner, she became someone he trusted deeply. She was there to listen, to support, and sometimes to care for him in ways few people understood. There were many happy times. Elvis loved music, and he would sing late into the night. They would watch films together and share quiet moments away from others. They even worked side by side to design parts of the house, including a special room filled with plants and bright colors that showed their fun connection. But behind those joyful times, there were struggles that could not be ignored. As their bond grew stronger, Linda began to see how much Elvis needed her. He was not just a performer, he was a man dealing with deep feelings that often troubled him. Sleep did not come easily to him. Some nights, he would wake up afraid, his body shaking, his mind filled with fear. Linda stayed with him during those long nights. She would sit close, gently comforting him, speaking soft words, and even praying to help him feel calm again. She cared for him with patience and love, the way you would care for someone who is hurting inside. She did not try to change him. She only wanted to support him. Still, there were harder moments. She began to notice that he depended more and more on certain medicines. This was not something the public knew at the time. He was not trying to harm himself. He was trying to escape the pressure and the sadness that followed him everywhere. Linda never spoke harshly to him. She did not walk away during those times. Instead, she stayed. She stood beside him through sleepless nights, through moments of weakness, and through times when he felt lost. Some people close to Elvis believed that her care gave him more time, that her presence brought light into his darkest days. Elvis showed his love for her in his own ways. He gave her sweet names, and she gave him her own in return. He told her that she meant more to him than anyone else ever had, and that he had been searching for someone like her for a long time. Their life together was filled with small, beautiful moments. They would dance freely, laugh without worry, and share quiet happiness when the world outside felt far away. But even with all that love, something heavy remained. Elvis struggled to find peace inside himself. No amount of success or care could fully calm what he was feeling. Linda understood this. She once felt that her role was to love him, not to change him, and not to abandon him. Yet love, even when it is strong, cannot solve everything. Before she ever met Elvis, Linda already had her own path. She had dreams and goals that belonged to her. She was not just someone standing beside a famous man. She was her own person, with her own future. As time passed, the home that once felt magical began to feel different. The bright rooms and music slowly turned into something that felt closed. Her world became smaller as she focused more and more on his needs. She gave so much of herself to helping him stay steady. She became his support, his strength during difficult times. But little by little, she began to feel something missing inside her. A quiet feeling started to grow. It was a question that would not go away. What about her own life? That small thought became louder with each passing day. She found herself standing at a place where she had to choose. Should she remain and slowly lose herself, or should she walk away from the man she still loved deeply? It was not an easy choice. It was one of the hardest moments of her life. And in that moment, her heart was pulled in two different directions, each one asking for something she could not fully give at the same time. A step away from the facade. The story of love between Linda Thompson and Elvis Presley did not end in anger. Instead, it slowly turned into something sad and heavy.
Couldn't reach me, and I pined away. I have to be honest, I was just pining away for him and thinking, oh hell, I'll probably never hear.
Even after they were no longer together as a couple, the connection they shared did not truly fade away. For Linda, walking away was never about chasing fame or finding someone new. It came from a deeper place inside her. She needed to breathe. She needed a life that felt safe and steady. Even when she left, a part of her heart stayed with him. She carried him in her thoughts, in her spirit, and in every memory they had built together. When they were together, they gave each other something special. Linda brought kindness and comfort into his world during a time he needed it most. In return, Elvis made her feel seen and truly loved. For a while, they shared moments of calm and happiness that felt real and warm. But as the days passed, things began to change. Linda started to notice how tired he had become, not just in his body, but deep inside his heart. Some days, he would be quiet and distant. Other times, his mood would shift quickly, like a storm that comes without warning. She tried her best to help him. She encouraged him to rest, to take care of himself, to find a way back to strength. Each time, he would agree. In those moments, he truly meant it. But later, those promises would slowly fade away, like music drifting into silence. Linda began to understand something painful. Love, no matter how strong, could not fix everything. In quiet moments, she watched the man she loved slowly change. There were days when he barely spoke. There were moments when he would suddenly lose his strength in the middle of a simple talk. Sometimes, when she looked at him, she could hardly see the lively man she once knew. Still, she stayed longer than most people would have. But even the deepest love has limits. Linda began to dream of a different kind of life. She wanted peace. She wanted a home filled with calm and joy. More than anything, she wanted to become a mother one day and raise children in a safe and happy place. That dream felt far away in Elvis's world. His fame, his struggles, and the constant pressure around him made it hard to imagine a quiet future. There was another truth she could not ignore. Elvis was not always faithful to her. Though he cared for her in his own way, there were other women in his life, including Mindy Miller. This made Linda feel unseen and hurt. She did not leave because she was angry. She left because her heart could no longer carry the pain. By the time the year 1976 came, her decision was clear. Elvis's health was getting worse very quickly. This time, it was more serious than before. Linda could see the signs, even when others chose not to. A quiet fear began to grow inside her. She once shared that she did not want to become a widow at the age of 27. That thought stayed with her. She knew that if she remained, she might one day watch him slip away forever, and she was not ready to live with that kind of sorrow. When the moment finally came for her to leave, it was not loud or dramatic. There were no harsh words, no anger filling the room. It was gentle and full of sadness. She packed her things quietly. Tears fell softly as she moved through the space they once shared. Before she walked out, she went to him, placed a soft kiss on his forehead, and let him know she would always be there if he needed her. And she meant every word. After she left Graceland, many people began to guess and gossip about her choice. Some believed she wanted fame, others thought she left for another man. Many assumed she could not handle the life that came with loving someone so famous, but they did not know the truth. Linda never tried to explain herself. She stayed quiet and allowed the stories to spread. She did not run to share secrets or turn their love into headlines. Perhaps it was because her love for him was still too deep. Or maybe, in her heart, she was holding on to something she had promised long ago. A few months after Linda Thompson had left Graceland, something unexpected happened. Late one night, when the world felt still and quiet, the phone rang. It was Elvis Presley. Linda picked up the call, her heart unsure of what she might hear. The voice on the other end was familiar, yet different. It did not carry the energy or sparkle she once knew. It sounded soft and fragile, like someone who had grown very tired. There was no excitement, no playful charm. Instead, his voice felt heavy, almost like it was carrying a weight too big to hold. As he spoke, she could feel how much he had changed. He sounded open and unguarded, like someone who had nothing left to hide. Then, he said something that stayed with her forever. He told her that she had been the one who truly cared for him, and that he understood that now. Those words touched her deeply. In an instant, her mind filled with memories. She remembered the long nights when she stayed awake just to make sure he was okay. She remembered the small, quiet ways she tried to ease his pain, both in his body and in his heart. Every moment of care came rushing back to her. That call made one thing very clear to her. He was hurting, and he felt alone in that pain. When she had chosen to leave, Linda had hoped it would help him. She believed that maybe, without her always there, he might find the strength to take better care of himself. She wished that stepping away would give him space to heal and grow stronger. But hearing his voice that night told her something else. He was not getting better. He was slowly drifting further away. Later, Linda shared that the call broke something inside her. For many months, she could not stop asking herself one question. Had leaving him helped him, or had it caused him more pain? She wanted to believe she had done the right thing, but the sound of his voice, so weak and full of quiet sadness, made her doubt everything. The man she once knew sounded like he was fading. Her thoughts returned to him again and again. She wondered if he was eating well. She wondered if he was sleeping. She wondered if he could breathe easily, if someone was there to help him when he needed it most. Now that she was no longer part of his daily life, the silence between them felt frightening. She had once known his routines, his habits, his struggles. She could tell when something was wrong just by looking at him. But now, she was far away, with no clear way to know how he truly was. Even though he had people around him, it did not feel like enough to her. She believed she understood him in a way others did not. There was one person she could still reach out to. Charlie Hodge remained close to Elvis. Linda began calling him more often, asking him to check on Elvis. Her voice carried worry each time. She would ask simple but important things. She wanted to know if he looked all right, if he was breathing normally. She held on to any small piece of comfort she could find. Then came a quiet Friday night, just a few days before August 16, 1977. Linda felt uneasy again. She picked up the phone and called Graceland. Her heart felt heavy, like something was not right. She asked to speak with Charlie. When he answered, she tried to stay calm, but her concern was clear. She asked about Elvis, and then gently requested that he go and check on him, just to be sure he was all right. There was a pause. For a moment, everything felt still. After a short time, Charlie returned to the phone and told her that Elvis was fine. Those words brought a little comfort, but not enough to ease her heart completely. That call became the last time she would ever reach out. Just a few days later, everything changed. Linda was at her home in Los Angeles when the phone rang again. This time, it was not Elvis. It was his young daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, who was only 9 years old. Through tears and cries, the little girl shared the terrible news. Her father was gone. The words hit Linda like a sudden storm. She was not ready for it. All the worry she had carried, all the quiet nights of thinking about him, none of it had prepared her for this moment. She felt frozen, overwhelmed by sadness. Later, she learned what had happened. Elvis had been found in his bathroom, unresponsive. Help was called, but it was too late. On August 16, 1977, Elvis Presley passed away. When Linda heard the full story, every memory came rushing back. Every conversation, every moment she had shared with him, and every time she had wondered if she could have done more. She carried his final words in her heart, knowing she would never forget them. Even before his passing, many people had been waiting for Linda to speak about their time together. The media kept asking questions. Fans wanted to hear stories. Rumors spread everywhere, some true, many not. After they separated, the attention only grew stronger. People offered her chances to speak, to write, to share everything. She could have told the world secrets. She could have made headlines and gained fame from it. But she chose a different path. While others spoke loudly about Elvis, Linda remained quiet. Not because she had nothing to say, but because what they had shared felt too special to turn into public talk. To her, Elvis was not just a famous figure. He was the man she loved, the one who held her close in quiet moments, the one who showed his pain when no one else was watching. That kind of love was not something she wanted to sell or display. Years later, she explained that she wanted to protect his dignity. After his death, many people were hurting. His daughter was still a child. His family and fans were grieving deeply. Linda did not want to add to their pain. She understood that her voice mattered. She knew that anything she said could be misunderstood or twisted into something else. So she chose silence, not out of fear, but out of love and respect. She kept her memories safe, like something precious. Over time, she heard others speak about Elvis. Some told honest stories, while others created images that did not feel true to her. Some described him in ways that felt unfair or incomplete. Linda did not like that. She knew who he really was beneath everything. She knew his kindness, his struggles, his humor, and his fears. By staying quiet, she protected that truth in her own way. But staying silent did not mean she forgot him. It did not mean she stopped caring. It only meant she was waiting. Losing Elvis was not just something the world felt. For Linda, it was deeply personal. Even though they had parted a year before his death, they had still cared for each other. When he passed, the pain came like a wave that could not be stopped. Healing from such loss takes time. Sometimes it takes quiet moments, away from the world. And perhaps, in those quiet years, Linda was simply trying to understand it all. The aftermath of her decision. After her time with Linda Thompson and Elvis Presley, Linda slowly built a new life for herself. The world around her had changed, but the lessons she carried in her heart stayed with her in quiet ways. She stepped into the world of entertainment and found her place. She appeared on the show Hee Haw as one of the familiar faces, bringing smiles to viewers. She also showed up in popular series like Starsky and Hutch, Chips, and Fantasy Island, but her deepest work came through music. She began to write songs, pouring her feelings into every word. Alongside David Foster, she helped create the powerful song I Have Nothing, performed by Whitney Houston in The Bodyguard. The emotion in that song carried pieces of her own story.
Rhode Island, Jeannie LeMay, and she and I became very fast best friends. And she moved to Memphis after the...
Full of longing and deep feeling, her personal life also opened new doors. In 1981, she married Caitlyn Jenner, then known as Bruce Jenner. Together, they welcomed 2 sons, Brandon and Brody, who later followed creative paths of their own. But by 1986, their journey together came to an end. Years later, in 1991, Linda married David Foster, the same man she had created music with. Their bond lasted until 2005, filled with both shared work and shared life. Through all these years, Linda learned something from every chapter. Each love, each ending, each beginning shaped who she became. Yet, none of it felt quite like what she once had. Because Elvis was not just part of her past. He was a love that changed her forever. Even now, at 75 years old, she still carries that memory gently. Sometimes, she returns quietly to Graceland, not for attention, but for peace. She walks through the rooms they once shared, pauses by the piano where music once filled the air, and remembers, and before she leaves, she places flowers there. Not for a legend, but for the man she once loved. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.